So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another episode of Is It That Bad? Where we take a look at an album that maybe had some mixed critics when it came out. And we listen to it now with fresh ears and we decide, is it that bad or isn't that bad? And finally, we got Señorita Sabrosura to do one of these videos with us. So, first of all, JC, Señorita, how are you?
Doing good, thanks.
Everything good here.
Yes, I had to get her to do this because we picked Deftones Saturday Night Wrist. Funny story. We almost did Gore, but then I realized, oh, we already talked about Gore on the Green Man channel last year on his Dark Horse series. So I'll put a link for that one because that was pretty cool discussion. So I thought, let's do Saturday Night Wrist. So you know the drill, people. We have 3 rounds. The first round, we talk about like our first initial impressions of listening to the album, what we thought. Then we pick, instead of like 3 favorite tracks, we pick our 3 least favorite tracks. And then we give our final thoughts and we give it a thumbs up if it's not that bad, or thumbs down if it's bad. So we're gonna have today start with obviously JC Rock and Metal Review. So JC, your initial thoughts listening to this album?
Okay, let me start by saying that I was a big new metal fan, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I really liked Korn and Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park, but for some reason I never got into the Deftones. Like they didn't click with me back then. So it wasn't until maybe 5 or 6 years ago I started getting into them a little more. So I listened to this album for the first time maybe a year or two ago. I actually did it for my I did a Deftones ranking once, and this one came like I had it in at second to last. Now that was based on listening to it a few times and just listening to all the albums. So that doesn't mean that I haven't changed my mind on it, but I'll talk about it later. I think it's kind of a unique album. They had some different sounds, and I think this is the album where their bass player had this accident, right? Chi Cheng, and then
Yeah, 2 years after this was the last album that he was on.
this was the last album with Chi Cheng, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of like it's an important album for the band. But I'll say, yeah, my first impression was that I didn't like it that much. But I'll let you know later if I kind of change my mind on it after like revisiting it. So I'll leave it at
Okay.
that.
Awesome. So what about you, Señorita?
Well, this on my first year, my first anniversary working at Hot Topic. So we sold it, and obviously I buy it, and we play it like every day on eat at the store. I bought it and play it on my on my car too. Um, I actually never heard like anyone at that time hating it or saying it was bad. Like we all love it at the store. We all sold it to a lot of people. Um, and but I know they don't play this album. I never heard like a song from this album like live on a set list of Deftones.
I think
And
maybe Hole in the Earth.
maybe I don't know, but and I know when fans do their list of the best Deftones albums, like this comes like this doesn't come out on top. But for me, my first impression, I immediately love it. Like I before that, I only listened to Around the Fur and White Pony that I love them too. So this I actually skipped the Deftones self-titled album and went straight
Dang.
to one. And after this one, I went back and revisited all the other albums. But my first impression, I like it immediately.
Nice. So yeah, obviously I was listening to Deftones when this came out. A little backstory on this album. So this is the first album that they went without Terry Date. They had Bob Ezrin producing, and I think he produced like more like psychedelic music. I think even Pink Floyd at some time. So this is an album that was a little bit more like sensual. Just look at this album cover. This you can tell that she's having fun. And this is music that when it came out, I call this the sexy Deftones album. Like, yeah, I enjoyed it. It came out on October 31st, 2006. I was actually in Europe when this came out on a trip, but I remember like listening to some of the songs on the trip. And right when I came back from the trip, I went out and bought it on CD. And this year I bought it on vinyl because because I'll talk more about it later. So yeah, I remember listening to I think the single, they released two singles from it. I think it was Main and Hole in the Earth. And Hole in the Earth kind of like sounded more like that classic Deftones sound. But this is an album that when it came out, the band was at an all-time low. They were fighting a lot. And also Chino Moreno was going through some drug abuse, and he was going through a divorce at the time. So he put a lot of that pain in this record. And but yeah, I really listened to it when it came out. Did I love it as much as White Pony or Around the Fur at that time? No. I enjoyed those records more, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, those were my first impressions when it came out. So it's cool that me and Señorita did listen to it when it came out. But JC, shame on you. You were not listening to it when it came out. So now we're going for round two, and we're going to name like the least. Usually we pick three. So JC, what three songs did you pick that for you are not the best ones on this record?
Okay. I think I'll pick one. I'll say like the one which I think is like the worst, and that's Pink Cell Phone. It's just it's weird. Like the vocals are, I don't know, they're kind of like rap style, and it seems like there's like a lot of those like futuristic sounds. It's just kind of strange, and there's like this like woman speaking, and it sounds like those like movies from the future where they have like this like female voice like telling you and you're in this big institution in space or something. You know, that's what came
Very
to mind.
Blade
But yeah, that type of thing. Yeah, yeah. And it's just the lyrics, especially towards the end. I don't know if you want to read them on air,
I
but
can
it's
read
just
them. My channel is not for children.
yeah, but the lyrics are very graphic towards the end. So that's my number one. I guess my number two would be that one where it's like UUDD LR AB select start. I guess it's like in the. It's not that bad. It's just kind of another one's kind of strange and reminding me of like The Cure. It's like an instrumental. I think it is an instrumental, and it's just like this like kind of haunting atmospheric type of song. It's not bad, but it just doesn't really feel like the Deftones. And that song title, I think it must be something like those secret codes you used to do with the Nintendo to get to like the secret world in Super Mario Brothers, I think, where it's like up, down, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. Something like that. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
that was the inspiration. And then the other one I'm going to pick is called the one right after that called Xerxes. It's not that bad. I just thought it was kind of slow. It didn't have like the guitar riffs I was looking for. It was okay, more one of those like atmospheric type of songs, and the chorus was okay, but I don't know. I think that's just that one was just okay for me. But that's it. Those are my three.
Okay. So what about you, Señorita? This is different. You can pick. This is not like when we do like an album that which songs you like. I like them all.
If I have to pick three if I'm forced because I really love this album. But if I have to pick three weak songs, will be Rapture, Rats, and Pink Cell Phone. But for me, it's not that they're bad or weak. Uh, for me, they just seem like out of place, like random. Especially that one, Pink Cell Phone. I don't think it's a bad song, but it sounds like by when Chino was doing this album, I think they went on break in the middle of the recording the album, and he was doing the debut of the Team Sleep.
Yeah, I remember that band.
And these songs sounds like more like that project. But
Yeah,
it's
more
not
electronic sounding.
yeah, more electronic, trip hop, and but it's not that I don't like them. It's just I feel like they're forced or out of place in the album.
Yeah, I love Rapture. I didn't think you were gonna pick that one.
I like those two songs. I think those are like those are like the heaviest ones, right? Yeah.
Because the whole album like seems like more mellow, more sexy, and the it's just like the placement. Like maybe if you move it to other place, I would like it more.
Yeah, I think Rapture follows the first track, Holding the Earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see why that one probably. So those are Señorita Sabrosura's third pick. So I guess that leaves me. So let's go ahead with my picks. So yeah, I would have to agree with JC. Pink Cell Phone is the worst Deftones track ever recorded, in my opinion. It's just
Yeah.
like it's hardly even a song. Like Chino Moreno is like somewhere on the background crooning a little bit, and then you have that lady who's saying like random stuff, and obviously she says some stuff at the end about British people not being circumcised and having poop in the penis, and that's why British have bad teeth. And I'm like, it's so random that it doesn't make sense that song would be there. So yeah, Pink Cell Phone. Yeah, it's just a track that it's weird and yeah, it's just like weird for Deftones to have that like profanity at the end that makes no sense. But I think it makes sense what Señorita Sabrosura says, that he was doing Team Sleep at the time, and it sounds more like a Team Sleep song. I agree on that one. So the other one, yeah, the UUDDLLR whatever JC said it. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's if you take that out of the album, it's fine. You know, it's like an electronic piece number. Like it's okay. It's not, but I don't hate it. But like if you take it away from the album, it doesn't take away anything from the album. And I would agree with Rats. I'm not a huge fan of that song. I just think it's okay. But I don't hate it. The only song that I think it's truly bad, and I don't even hate it, it's Pink Cell Phone. But I think if you think of like a Deftones track, it's like, is it really a Deftones track? Because it doesn't sound like Deftones.
Yeah.
And plus Chino Moreno is hardly in it. We just have that random lady saying random stuff. Plus, it's offensive to British people, to our friend the Green Man. So I'm defending you, Green Man. I'm defending your teeth on this video. So yeah, so those are the three tracks that I think are the weakest. So now we're going for round 3, where we give our final thoughts and we do a vote. So JC, your final thoughts on Saturday Night Wrist?
Okay, like I was saying before, my first impression, I didn't really like it, but I think listening to it again, I actually think it's actually pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot more. I think it's because like lately I've been listening to these like YouTube covers, And I've seen like a lot of people cover like Hole in the Earth and Cherry Waves. So those two songs I really like a lot. They're really great. I think the heavy songs like Rapture and Rats, 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 I thought they were really good as well. Um, that song after Cherry Waves is called Mine. I thought that one was pretty cool. It's has some weird vocals, but I mean that's a good song. And then towards the end, like the last three songs of Combat, King Dracula, and Riviera, I thought that they were not too bad. I mean, they were more like straightforward Deftones. I mean, it seemed like more of the traditional sound. Didn't really seem like they were, you know, going off on a tangent or trying to experiment with those songs. They seemed a little more straightforward. So I'm going to give this one a thumbs up. I think it's I think it's a good album. Just get rid of Pink Cell Phone and maybe get rid of that instrumental select start whatever thing, and then you got a really good album. You know.
Yeah. And also in Maine, we all forgot there's guest vocalist Serge Tankian
Yes.
from
Oh, that's a
System of
good.
a Down on that one. And Sean Lopez, who's with Chino on Process, is also featured on that track. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, because I heard like those baritone vocals on it. I didn't know it was Serge. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was Serge. So so señorita, give me your final verdict.
Well, my first impression is that I like it, and all these years later, and revisiting and listening again, I still like it. For me, it's not that bad.
Good.
Um, I can't believe you, JC, said you don't like Cersei. That's one of my favorite songs. I also like Hole in the Earth. I think that's one of the most I listen.
yeah.
Sherry Ways, Maine, Keep Dracula. I like them. For me, it's a very underrated album. It has some beautiful songs. It's very dark uh, and very deep.
Yes.
What about
And
you?
okay, so my final verdict. Señorita, we were talking this afternoon, and Señorita Sabrosura said, but you already did a short that you said that it was underrated. I'm like, oh, people are not going to remember. So, yes, obviously, to me, this is a very
Mhm.
underrated album. This is the the Deftones albums that I would recommend to anyone who wants to have a good night with your special somebody. Or even if it's not a special somebody, just have fun with that person and put this record, because this is a sexy record that I think even with Pink Cell Phone, which I'm like, why is it there? And the other one, I still would give it a thumbs up. I think it's very underrated, and it's an album that I think it's grown on me, and through the years, I enjoy it more now than when it first came out. Maybe it's that like dark. It's like it was like a dark period in the band, and obviously because like the backstory, Chino Moreno's getting divorced, and there's like trouble in the band, and obviously this is the last album with Chicheng. So yeah, it's a very important record. So yes, all three have given a thumbs up. So yes, Deftones Saturday Night Reese, it's not bad. It's actually pretty fucking good. So we want to know what you guys think of Saturday Night Reese by by Deftones, and obviously comment. Does anyone like Pink Cell Phone? I would want to know if someone to defend that song, like say, like what is the purpose of that song? And if you like the videos that we put out, do not forget to give us a like and do not forget to subscribe. We have more content on the way. So please subscribe to my friend's channels, JC Rock and Metal Reviews. He's got, that great content review. And now he has a cool green screen. So you don't know where he's going to review from. He may be in the desert. He may be in space, but he will be somewhere reviewing albums for you, giving you history lessons that for you to understand why track 3 was recorded and why did they use that pedal. So you'll get all that information. And with Señorita Sabrosura, obviously we've got a lot of videos, that collaborations that we've done since I think like the beginning of the channel. We did our first collaboration when this channel was like 3 months old. So we collaborated on many different types of videos. Plus, she has her own YouTube channel. She has a lot of shorts where she speaks a lot about rock in Spanish. So if you want to know some history about rock in Spanish and her sabrosura recommendations, check out her YouTube channel as well. So until the next episode of Is It That Bad, we'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you and good night.